Hi guys, and welcome to the Traore Army. I know I've been absent for a long time, but I have good reason for that. I'm sorry guys, we've been traveling, and I think you guys know that I moved to Cameroon, and then I came back for my son's birthday, and then my husband is in Asia visiting, having a good vacation there. Originally it was planned that we're gonna go back shortly, but there's a lot of things going on in Cameroon, I think you guys know, which is actually what I'm going to talk about today. I think on the one side, it's a very, very good thing, like kind of 90% in that sense, or 100% if I have to say that. But obviously I have to keep some percentage for the fact that, okay, people are dying. It's only because Cameroonians in general are very, very peaceful people. But based on what's going on now, there should have been a lot of if there were people that are really bloodthirsty in that sense, there would have been a lot of killings happening. But we thank God that at this moment it's not a lot of unaliving that happened. But yeah, oh my God, I'm sorry guys, I just almost wanted to go by without saying what I'm going to talk about as well, except for what's happening in Cameroon. I also want to rectify something that I actually I listened to a clip about. I think this guy is he has a position in, I think, in the British Parliament, if I'm not mistaken. But I think it's the response on him calling his father's cousin, I think, an Aunty, and the backlash that he got. I have to explain that because I mean, white people need to understand that we are not the same culturally and how we call things and so on. So I'm going to explain that. So welcome back to Traore Army.
I was speaking about Zerafui, my father's cousin, who sadly passed away a few years ago. And for the takeaway from my more than 10-minute address about Islamophobia in this race and in this city to be the question of my aunt tells you everything about Andrew Cuomo and his inability to reckon with a crisis of his own making.
Well said. The arrogance of white people's ignorance is caucasity personified. I did not have on my 2025 bingo card that we would be educating white people on who an auntie is. Then again, we educate them on everything else, so I shouldn't be surprised. We all know that in their so-called white culture, they lack good home training. Because if they had good home training, then they would know that elder respect is a fundamental tenet of good home training. But hey, let's not say nothing before we trigger their white fragility. And it's like, oh my God, did she just say that? That's so unfair. Oh, racism. Oh my God, I feel like such a stranger in my own land. My feelings are so hurt. Blah, 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 blah. So all them white folks are trying to smear Zora Mamdani as a liar because he calls his father's cousin Aunty. Come here. Come closer. Okay. Who calls their father's cousin aunt? Every black and brown person on God's given earth. Like, hello? And yes, you dumbasses, black and brown people know that our parents' cousins are our first cousins. That's not the freaking point. We accord them the respect of auntie and uncle because of their ties to our parents and because of their age. It's called elder respect. You know what? Let the Nigerian in me speak. I can't see a Nigerian calling his father's cousin, or by first name. The slap you will get, it will be reverberating with surround sound. They will hear it in Manchester. Black and brown people even call their parents' friends auntie and uncle. That's how broad our cultural respect for elders go. And have you noticed how Jewish people are never second-guessed, triple-checked about their aunties, uncles, brothers, sisters, father, mothers' stories? Nah, they can't be trusted. But Muslims, black and brown people can't be trusted to tell our own stories. It should be criminal for these Zionist, racist, Islamophobic, anti-Muslim bigots to weaponize their cultural ignorance against Zora Mamdani. Mamdani's win will be a critical necessity, but also delicious to see his enemies fail.
Welcome back. So I think we're going to talk about that before we go to the Cameroonian revolution that's happening. We're so happy. But first of all, I wanted to explain something. So this is dear white people, okay? You guys need to know that culturally we are different, and that's okay. We just don't want you to think that your own way of calling things it's how we should also call you. I think you had enough, like bossiness all over the years and so on. It's time that we have our own way of doing things, okay? For example, my mother's sisters, to be quite honest, are not my aunties in that sense, because we actually call them mom too. Like I have my mother's sister that I call mama, because in our language they're actually your moms. Now, in English, it's your aunt, right? Now, another thing is that, for example, in our culture, any elderly person, it doesn't matter whether it's your mother's friend even, it's still an auntie. Like I have a friend of mine and her children call me auntie, but I'm not like biologically they are auntie in the real sense, although when you become friends for a while, like we have been friends for like how long now? I think 11 years. So we are literally family. But my children call Samantha, who is my best friend, the one I'm talking about, aunt. Can you see? So that's our culture. We are just like that. And white people would not do that. To a white person, like for example, my son, when he was growing, King David, when he was smaller, he would call, maybe like we're in a train and so on, and it happened that we're talking about, and you say, thank you, auntie, and most of the time, the reaction that we get from white people, if that person that he called auntie is a white person, it was kind of like, but I'm not your auntie, even though they wouldn't say it, but the reaction would show that. And that's okay. So now I've teach my children, when it's a white person, don't call them auntie. When it's a black person, say auntie. And the funny thing about it is that you can see it's a culture, because even Jamaicans and Caribbeans, who are obviously not really Africans in the sense of like Africans in that sense, when you do that, they actually understand. And it's very easy, like it's kind of flowing. It's not like something where they are wondering why your child is calling them auntie and so on. So dear white people, that is our culture. Just leave it like that, okay? It's okay if you call, your own, like for example, a 5-year-old will call a woman who's maybe like 45 Diana or whatever, or let me say Lydia. Hi Lydia. No, like it feels so unreal. Like it's so embedded in our culture that even when I'm talking to professors, I would, like when I'm writing an email, I will say, hi professor, I know that professor, blah, blah, professor. I will always do that. I wouldn't say you. That's just so embedded in us. That's us, okay? And then there's something else that I also wanted to share, which is like, we don't have step brothers and step sisters. Like in your language, you have, because it's two children, they share a mother, but they don't share a father. Apparently, those are step sisters and step brothers. We don't have that. It's just not, we don't even have a word that can describe that in our language. So don't force us to do things because you do them. First of all, there's another thing that I can confirm as well that is so cultural. White people don't help their children with, for example, their grandchildren. Like, if you give birth and you are struggling and so on, a white mother would not help you. No wonder your children actually put you in an old age home, because obviously we have our mother helping us. Our parents help us sometimes raise our children, right? Because maybe you have to go to work and they are home and so on. We do that. It's so natural. It's not even a discussion of like, oh no, you have to do that so that one day I don't put you in an old age home. We just don't put our parents in old age home because we actually want them home so that our children can learn all the tales and all those things from our parents. So it's very natural, but white people don't do that. So please, let's keep our culture, and you keep your culture. If you like your culture so much, keep it. Why do you want to enforce it on other people? So if I call, my whoever uncle, even if it's not like an uncle biologically, why are you so concerned? Why does it have to always be you or what you want? Anyway, having said that, I don't want to get lost with that. I wanted to say that to dear white people, okay? So let's go further on. So there's something happening in Cameroon, and I'm so happy for it. So When we booked our tickets originally, I think we kind of knew, because my husband left Cameroon on the 2nd of October. I left on the 3rd. We were actually booking a hotel prior to that. So 2 days prior to that, we're in a hotel having a good time and blah, blah, blah. Show the photos here. But then, with the election going on, things happen, and you know what's going on right now. And I'm really happy about what's going on. Let's put a video of really what's going on. There's a revolution going on. I think you guys know about Paul Biya. He has been leading this country for, I think, 43 years, and he's 92 years. And the problem is, guys, this is a problem that I have with African leaders. Like, I have to speak my language like that. That's how angry I am. Like, come on. Already at, like, how old? I think at 80, like, your brain, the way it functions and the way you remember things is not the same. So really, what we know about Cameroon is that Cameroon is really literally run by France. It's Macron pulling the strings, to be quite honest. Because there's a video, I'm going to put that video here too, where, you know, like, the president of Cameroon doesn't even know what he's saying, like, he's embarrassed. He doesn't even know what the heck he's doing at the platform he's supposed to preach. And then there's another one where Macron is leading him to... Let's look at the videos first.
In 2022, I talked about the drama he did at the Africa-US Summit in DC when they were asking him to come and speak. You guys remember what happened now?
Pourquoi je suis en vedette? Ici. C'est qui tous ces gens qui sont là? Pourquoi je peux demander ça? Est-ce qu'il y a des gens importants là?
Les ministres qui sont là. Le président Kagame a parlé, il est parti, introduit. Le monsieur vous a introduit. Il y avait un monsieur de vous qui vous a introduit.
Je dois parler maintenant.
Vous pouvez rester assis, parler assis. Vous pouvez parler assis, étant assis.
Ici?
Oui.
Pourquoi?
I mean, it's so sad. The man just sat there, he farted. He kept looking at the pamphlet in his hand for minutes. That is supposed to be his speech. Then he farted again in public. He put down his pamphlet. His aide came back to prompt him to speak.
Vous pouvez parler assis, étant assis.
Ici?
Oui.
Pourquoi? C'est moi. Il n'y a personne pour conduire les travaux.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is the person they declared the winner of the election.
So, da-da-da-da-da-da. What is going on there? Like, what? The guy cannot even walk. Like, Macron has to push him. And then in the other video, you can literally hear and just look at the reaction. The guy is all... I feel like he actually doesn't even want to be a leader anymore. I feel like he's being forced. So we need to pray for Cameroon, guys. There need to be a change. Like, come on. That country, you know, my husband is Cameroonian, so I visit it very often. That country is F-up. Like, the roads is crazy. Water all over, mud, like, it's just so bad. Like, honestly speaking. Okay, let me put another video about what's really going on, the revolution and so on, because the others that I put on was just to show how old the guy is. Let's look at that.
Guys, Cameroon is on fire. The youth of Cameroon has finally woken up and said no to election rigging. According to the youth of Cameroon, they say that it's either they die or live. That enough is enough. They're planning to rig election for the 92-year-old president who has been ruling them for 45 years. Like this Paul Biya, the president of Cameroon, has been ruling Cameroon for 43 years. And he is 92. During the election and during the campaign, this man cannot walk. He cannot talk. Like, he can't talk. Like, this man is... Like, he has, I can say that, physical challenge. His health is questionable. plus old age, and he still want to run election at 92, and he's been ruling Cameroon for 43 years. Now the Cameroon people say enough is enough. Finally, they have woken up. Say that they will never allow anybody to rig election for their president, for Paul Biya. That enough is enough, that true electoral reform, in fact, that free, fair, credible election must happen in Cameroon. By fire, by force. Make una see them now. In my mind, I said that I support Cameroon because 43 years one man has, and yet, what is wrong with African leaders? What is the main problem of African leaders? You rule for 43 years at 92, instead of you to go home and be taking care of your grandchildren, or if possible your great-grandchildren. You still want to control, be a puppet, because this man is not the one ruling Cameroon. He was just a puppet controlled by the French country, by their colonizers. Because after 43 years, this man has been ruling Cameroon. What can he brag, or what have he achieved all these 43 years as the president of Cameroon?
Again, you can see that the Cameroonian people are tired. They are literally exhausted of this nonsense, okay? So I want to say, guys, let's pray for them. Let's hope it's gonna work out. Let's hope there's no much unaliving and so on. I'm praying for Cameroon because that's my country. We bought some places there, some lands and so on. So we want to go there and build, okay? Anyway, from me, Jehovah, take care, bye.
Kelly